All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Brian Garvey. I'm here with Jason and Rikki from Profoundly. This series, as you know, is focused on answering real questions from HubSpot Solutions Partners and providers. Real, fast, honest, totally unscripted. So let's dive in. This week, I've got a question. I think, Jason, you're uniquely positioned to answer this one. What does it cost to bring in an expert temporarily?
The pricing question. Okay, I love it. Man, the real answer is it depends, obviously. It depends on what you need in the moment, but I won't deflect. I promise to answer the actual question. So, I've been studying this stuff forever. I've been fortunate enough to write the salary guide for a number of years and just been in this space for long enough to have seen every iteration of help and hourly rate and salary that I think is out there. And there are some commonalities for sure. Right? If you're a HubSpot Solutions partner and you need to bring in a contractor, you're almost certainly in the 70 to 80, all the way up to 180, maybe to $200 an hour range. Like those are the extremes. I'd say over the years, the vast majority of contractors that I've been lucky enough to work with and help HubSpot Solutions partners hire, you're in the 100 to $120 an hour range.
Hmm.
It's somewhere in there. And of course, it depends enormously on what you need. If really what you need is back of the house operational support, where like one really common position is I need HubSpot technical help. I need somebody who can plug in, create workflows, manage CRM, create properties, etc. Right? The long list of bullet points on the job description for something like a HubSpot technologist, you're going to be on the lower end of that range. You can find somebody really good for 75, 80, $85 an hour. And the other side of it, somewhere more in the middle would be, let's say you need somebody we had a question recently about can I trust a contractor with my clients? So let's say you're bringing in someone to help manage clients, a contractor or account manager, whatever the title may be. You're more in the midpoint, $120 an hour or something like that. And the stuff that gets really expensive is the really highly technical professionals. For example, you've got a client who's got a very specific need for integrations. This is a real example that we've heard many times over the years. Like, we've got an ERP that was custom built for us in 1997. How the hell do I make that play nicely with HubSpot?
Yeah.
Right, that's probably a very expensive, like it's very expensive in this context. Contractor who can actually come in and pull off that work, you're probably in the $150, $180 range.
Yep. Yep.
I love your adding value here by giving actual numbers. That's really useful. I think a way that I think about this as well is how are you briefing in this job? Because the costs then range on those scales. So if you go, I've got this task to do, this is exactly what I need you to do, when I need you to do it by, how I need you to do it, you're probably talking the bottom end of that range. If you're starting the relationship with, how do I do this? Or you start with an open-ended statement like my client does here, and can you help us solve this problem? You're probably at the top end of that range because you're actually asking for experience and consultation and solution, not just task doing. So I think that's the way I like to frame the sort of other ends of that scale as well.
Yeah. I also think you've got hourly engagements, and then you've also got, like, if we're talking about costs and like getting outside help, you've also got fixed price engagements, right? And so I think all of this, as you both mentioned, like it varies based on who you're bringing in, the scope of the project, the complexity of the project, and all of that. I always get the question, like, from customers and also from partners, right? Like, well, when should I look at looking at hourly engagements versus fixed price engagements? And I think, like, what I share back with folks is, like, you choose fixed price when the scope is clear, right? When you know what you're asking for, when the deliverables are pretty, like, right down the middle, and you want predictability. I think you choose hourly when it's exploratory, when it's ongoing, when it's open-ended, like when you're sort of looking to kind of evolve as you go. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or you have a different mental model, but that's how I think about it.
I see a trap a lot of people fall into, and one of the reasons I'm actually quite an advocate of fixed pricing is because I think people often rule themselves out of the more experienced, expensive help because they don't see the fixed price of that. And from my experience, a person charging $200 an hour does something in 5 hours because they've done it before. They know exactly what they're doing, know where it is in the product. But people often opt for the 80 an hour thinking it's cheaper, but it ends
Yeah.
up taking them 40 hours. You've never done it before. They've got to figure it out. They've got to do research and testing.
Yeah.
There's a use case. I agree with your use cases for both of those, but often don't close yourself out to a higher hourly rate until you've seen the fixed cost as well.
Yeah. Great point.
Yeah, Ricky, that's such an important point. One of the questions that, or one of the things that I've seen partners live on camera wrestle with is, well, okay, but I've got to maintain my minimum margin per hour or for the project, and I've seen it dissuade partners from choosing the more senior, potentially more capable help. And to your point, it's very difficult to understand that without the context of how long is it going to take, right? To your point, if you just see $200 an hour, you go, well, how the hell am I supposed to maintain my margin? I'm only charging $200 an hour. There's
Yeah,
literally no margin there for me, and it's much more difficult to take that step back and go, well, the margin comes from the fact that it's a 8 hour thing versus a 25-hour thing.
Yeah.
So the margin actually is there.
Love that. I think the best part is like not to sell here, but like Profoundly allows you to do both. Like get a feel for either or both of those. So